The Galactic Council's judgment. The silence of the vast, cold expanse of space was broken only by the hum of the USS Victory's engines as it hurtled toward the heart of the galaxy. Aboard the ship, Captain Sarah Thompson stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the stars outside. Humanity's first interstellar fleet was about to make history, but what awaited them was nothing less than the future of the entire human race. Across the galaxy, the Galactic Council watched from their towering citadel, an alliance of ancient and powerful species who governed the stars. For centuries, they had observed humanity from the shadows, analyzing every move. From their perspective, Earth's chaotic history made it clear humanity was a threat waiting to explode. They had fought wars among themselves, torn their planet apart and nearly destroyed it in the process. Could such a volatile species be trusted with the vast powers of the cosmos? The Council was certain the answer was no. In their eyes, humanity was nothing more than an infant in the universe, wild, dangerous, and unpredictable. The Vandari, the most feared of the Galactic Council's military forces, had been given orders. Eliminate any potential threat posed by these humans. Test their resolve, break their spirits, and let them know their place in the universe. Captain Thompson's voice crackled over the intercom, steady but laced with the gravity of the situation. Prepare for arrival. We make contact with the Galactic Council today. Make humanity proud. The crew was ready. They had trained for this moment for years, but what they didn't know was that the Council's response wouldn't be a peaceful greeting. It would be a show of overwhelming force. The USS Victory and its fleet approached the Council's central hub. The space around them suddenly warped. A massive Vandari fleet emerged from the shadows of a nearby nebula, their ships sleek, black, and radiating cold menace. The alien ships dwarfed the human fleet. They glistened with advanced weaponry, and their presence alone was enough to chill even the most hardened hearts. The first transmission came through. Vandari Commander Zarek's voice echoed through the ship's speakers, cold and disdainful. "Humanity," he sneered. "You have come seeking peace, but peace is a luxury only the strong can afford. Surrender your technology and submit to the will of the Galactic Council, or we will reduce your species to dust. Your planet's survival depends on your obedience. Choose wisely." The crew of the USS Victory froze, their hearts pounding. They had expected a challenge, but this was not the diplomacy they had prepared for. The first contact with the Council was supposed to be a moment of mutual understanding, not a brutal ultimatum. In the observation deck, Captain Thompson and Colonel Marcus Kane exchanged a glance. There was no fear in their eyes, only the cold calculation of two leaders who knew exactly what was at stake. But what they didn't know, what the Galactic Council could never have predicted, was the sheer, unrelenting strength that humanity possessed. It wasn't in their technology, it wasn't in their weapons. It was in their spirit, and it was a spirit that could not and would not be broken. Captain Thompson stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "We will not surrender," she said, her tone unwavering. "Prepare for battle. We're not here to kneel to anyone." The USS Victory's crew, battle-ready and resolute, moved into action. But as the Vandari ships powered up their weapons, a chilling realization dawned on the Galactic Council. They had miscalculated. They had underestimated humanity. The first shot rang out, breaking the silence of space with the fury of battle. The USS Victory returned fire, and the Vandari fleet opened its full might. The stage was set for the greatest test humanity had ever faced, but they wouldn't go down without a fight. This was the moment they would show the galaxy what humanity was truly made of. Humanity's first encounter. The USS Victory's bridge was thick with tension as Captain Sarah Thompson stared at the dark expanse outside, surrounded by the intimidating Vandari fleet. Their sleek ships surrounded the human fleet, leaving no room for escape. The Vandari's massive, heavily armed warships gleamed ominously in the cold void of space. "Steady, everyone," Thompson said firmly, her gaze unwavering. "Prepare for contact. Humanity's future starts now." Colonel Marcus Kane stood at her side, his eyes scanning the enemy fleet. "We're outnumbered, Captain. They'll crush us if we don't act fast." Just as the words left his mouth, a deep, echoing voice came through the intercom, cold and commanding. "Humanity, you stand on the edge of destruction. Surrender to the Galactic Council or face annihilation." The crew braced themselves as the Vandari fleet powered up its weapons, but Captain Thompson's voice was calm, resolute. "We came to prove humanity's worth. We won't kneel." Zarek's mocking laugh filled the bridge. "Then prepare to be destroyed." The first barrage of energy beams struck the USS Victory, rocking the ship. The crew scrambled to hold steady as shields flared to life. The Vandari fleet fired again. But this time, the USS Victory's retaliatory strikes hit their mark, knocking out a key Vandari warship. The Vandari, taken aback by the human response, continued their assault, but Thompson's command was clear. "We fight back. We're not backing down." Suddenly, the USS Victory lurched forward, racing directly toward the Vandari fleet. The human ship was outgunned, but it didn't hesitate, launching a bold, unexpected attack. The Vandari, expecting submission, were caught off guard. As a Vandari ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, the Galactic Council watched, stunned. The humans weren't just surviving, they were fighting back. And for the first time, the Galactic Council realized they had gravely underestimated humanity. The Vandari's ultimatum, the USS Victory, rocked under heavy fire as the Vandari fleet closed in. Captain Sarah Thompson's jaw clenched as she watched the massive warships surround them. Despite the odds, she held her ground, firing back with everything they had. "We're outnumbered, Captain," Colonel Marcus Kane warned, his voice tight with tension. "We can't keep this up for long." Before Thompson could respond, Commander Zarek's cold voice crackled over the intercom. "Humanity, you've proven resilient. But resilience won't save you. Surrender to the Galactic Council or be destroyed." Thompson's eyes narrowed. "We will never surrender." Zarek's laugh echoed, filled with contempt. "You are nothing but insects, humans. Your defiance will be your undoing." As another barrage of energy struck their shields, Thompson's crew scrambled to maintain control. The Vandari fleet continued to close in, a relentless force preparing.
"For the final strike," Zarek's voice came again, cold and final. "You have one chance to survive. Surrender, and we'll spare your planet. Refuse, and we will wipe you from the way of the division. Tread heavily on homes and
Odds were impossible, but surrender wasn't an option. Kane's voice was urgent. "Captain, we need to fight back. There's no other choice." Thompson met his gaze, her resolve unshaken. "We will fight. We will show them what humanity can do." The USS Victory lurched into action, dodging blasts and firing back with deadly precision. For the first time in the Taka battle, a Vandari warship exploded, a small victory that sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet. "They're not backing off," Kane said, eyes wide with a mix of awe and fear. "They're fighting for something more." Thompson's lips curled into a determined smile. "That's because we don't fight just to survive. We fight to win." The USS Victory surged forward, defiant, and for the first time in the battle, humanity had made its mark. Shifting tides, the USS Victory groaned under the constant barrage from the Vandari fleet, its shields flickering at 40%. Captain Thompson gripped the armrest, her crew struggling to hold their ground. The Vandari's superior firepower and tactics were wearing them down. "Status?" Thompson demanded, eyes on the battle. "Shields at 40%, weapons are fully charged, but we're losing secondary systems," Lieutenant Harper replied, worry in her voice. "Their flanking maneuvers are crushing us." Colonel Kane's voice was tense. "We need a way out or we're finished." Thompson studied the tactical display. There was a narrow gap between the Vandari fleet. It was a risky move, but it might be their only chance. "There's a weak point in their formation," Kane said, pointing to the gap. "If we can slip through, we can target their command ship. If we take it out, we might disrupt their entire fleet." Thompson met his gaze. "Do it. Prepare for a high-risk maneuver. We breach their formation and take out that command ship. No retreat. The crew sprang into action, the USS Victory weaving through the chaos of battle. With precision, they darted toward the command ship, dodging blasts. But the Vandari weren't caught off guard for long, unleashing a barrage that rocked the USS Victory. "Brace for impact," Kane yelled as the ship veered to avoid a direct hit. The USS Victory surged forward, weapons charging. "Fire!" Thompson shouted, and the USS Victory launched a devastating volley. Explosions erupted on the Vandari command ship, its defenses collapsing. The USS Victory was thrown off course by a retaliatory strike, but the damage was done. The Vandari command ship was destroyed in a massive explosion, sending shockwaves through their fleet. The Vandari faltered as their coordination broke down. Zarek's furious voice filled the comms. "You will pay for this, humans." The USS Victory, battered but alive, was now a thorn in the Vandari's side. The battle was far from over, but humanity had shown its resilience. They weren't done yet. "Prepare for round 2, Thompson said, determination in her eyes. "We fight until the end." The unexpected weapon. The USS Victory was running low on resources after the last battle, and the Vandari were closing in again. Captain Thompson knew they needed something drastic. "We're out of options," Kane said, glaring at the approaching fleet. Thompson's eyes flickered toward a classified section of the ship. "There is one thing left." Harper quickly relayed a new message from command. "Clearance to activate Project Leviathan." "Where is it?" Thompson asked, her pulse quickening. "Engineering," Harper answered. "But we've only heard rumors about it." The crew hurried to the lower decks, arriving at a vast core of dark energy, the heart of Project Leviathan. The superweapon was designed to harness collapsing stars' energy to wipe out entire fleets in a single strike. "Activate it," Thompson ordered. Harper hesitated. "Captain, we don't know what this could do. It might destroy everything within miles." Thompson's resolve was firm. "We have no choice." Harper started the sequence, and the core hummed to life. Suddenly the ship shook violently as the weapon's energy surged. Systems malfunctioned, alarms blared, and it felt as though the Victory would tear apart. The energy pulse shot forward, smashing into the Vandari fleet. In seconds, their ships disintegrated in a burst of destructive force. "We did it?" Kane asked. Stunned. The view screen showed the decimated Vandari fleet, but the damage to the USS Victory was severe. Systems were failing, and the crew was left to wonder if the Victory had been worth the cost. "We survived," Thompson said, her voice heavy. "But at what price?" The unexpected weapon. The USS Victory was battered, shields failing as the Vandari fleet pressed in for the final strike. Despite their best efforts, the crew was running out of options. "We can't hold them off much longer, Captain," Kane said, frustration in his voice. "We need a plan, or we're finished." "Wait," Lieutenant Harper interrupted, eyes wide with urgency. "There's something, classified, never used in combat before. A weapon, a prototype." Thompson turned sharply. "Explain." "A project from before the Vandari even arrived," Harper explained. "It harnesses the gravitational energy of a collapsing star. It's never been tested, but it's our only shot." Kane's eyes widened. "You're telling me we have a weapon that taps into the power of a star?" "It's dangerous," Harper said. "If it fails, we could all die. But right now, it's our only chance." Thompson paused, weighing the risk. "Activate it." As Harper began charging the weapon, the Vandari closed in. Zarek's voice crackled over the intercom, filled with contempt. "You waste your time, humans. You are finished." The crew fought desperately, holding off the Vandari for as long as they could. Then the weapon powered up, and with a violent shudder, the USS Victory unleashed a massive energy beam. It shot through the Vandari fleet, tearing apart ships in its path. For a moment, everything seemed to freeze. The Vandari fleet, disoriented and damaged, began to falter. Ships drifted into space, crippled or destroyed. Zarek's voice returned, seething with rage. "Impossible, you will pay for this." Thompson stared at the damage, her voice cold. "This is far from over. Humanity doesn't back down." With the Vandari regrouping, the fight was far from finished. but humanity had shown it was ready to go to any length to survive. "Prepare for the next round," Thompson ordered. "We fight until the end." The outside voice, the USS Victory, drifted among the wreckage of the Vandari fleet, its crew exhausted after the previous battle. Captain Thompson studied the tactical display, knowing the Vandari would strike again soon. How much longer until... "We can jump to hyperspace?" Thompson asked Lieutenant Harper. 15 minutes, Harper replied, clearly stressed. Then an eerie hum filled the ship, growing louder by the second. It wasn't the usual ship noises. This was something different. A deep, resonant voice echoed through the comms. "Humanity. Do you hear me? This is your final warning." The crew froze, trying to trace the origin of the strange transmission. "It's coming from deep space," Harper reported, bewildered. "Not from any nearby ships." The voice grew clearer. "We are the Ascendants. We've watched you. You've crossed the line. The universe does not allow such defiance." Thompson's gut tightened. "Who are you?" The voice continued, cold and dispassionate. "You are not meant to thrive. You are meant to perish. We are the law of the universe. Your actions will bring your end." Kane clenched his jaw. "Another enemy? Are they behind the Vandari?" The voice ignored him. "You cannot defy us. Prepare yourselves." Suddenly, the transmission cut off, leaving an oppressive silence. The crew was left shaken and unsure. Thompson broke the silence. "We won't back down. Humanity won't be crushed by anyone." Kane shook his head. "Whoever they are, they're not like the Vandari. This is something else." The crew tightened security, readying themselves for whatever was to come. The warning from the Ascendants hung heavily in the air, leaving them with more questions than answers. "We're not done yet," Thompson said, her voice steady. "But we need to be ready for anything." No turning back as the USS Victory approached the jump point. Alarms blared. The Vandari fleet had returned, but something else was emerging. A massive, pulsating anomaly in space. "Captain, you need to see this," Harper said, pointing to the Drunin. The anomaly was not just a gravitational distortion. It was alive, radiating an eerie, unnatural glow. The Vandari fleet began to fire concentrated energy at it, but instead of weakening, the anomaly grew stronger. "Why are they attacking it?" Kane asked, confused. Thompson shook her head. "It's not helping them. They're trying to control it, but it's out of their hands." Then, in a shocking turn, the Vandari fleet started to retreat, as though they had lost control of their own ships. The anomaly expanded rapidly, threatening everything in its path. "We need to move. Now," Thompson ordered. The USS Victory launched toward the jump point, but it was already too late. The Vandari, in a last-ditch effort, sent their ships into the anomaly, triggering a violent explosion that shook the ship. "We've lost propulsion," Harper yelled as the ship was caught in the shockwave. Thompson's voice was urgent. "Emergency protocol. Use the gravity slingshot to escape." The USS Victory swung around the anomaly, fighting the pull as the dark mass grew closer. With a final surge of energy, the ship broke free, narrowly escaping the pull of the anomaly. The crew exhaled in relief, but the silence was ominous. The Vandari fleet was gone, consumed by the anomaly. "Captain," Harper said softly. "What was that?" "I don't know," Thompson replied, staring at the stars ahead. "But we'll find out. This isn't over."